Hello students, in our last lecture we studied about interference due to two coherent sources. Now let us study about interference of light waves and Young's experiment. Now students, to observe interference fringes practically, monochromatic light source is used because multichromatic light source will not produce interference pattern. Example, sunlight. Sunlight cannot be used to obtain the interference pattern because we know that sunlight consists of various colors, and so to obtain interference fringes, monochromatic source, a source having only one colored light means a light having only one frequency, that can be used. Example, sodium lamp. We know that sodium lamp gives yellow color light and yellow color has only one frequency, so that type of source are used. Now students, light waves coming out from the independent monochromatic source. Suppose this is an independent monochromatic source. So if such two independent monochromatic sources are used, then what happens? Even in that case also sometimes we cannot get the interference fringes because even the phase difference of this light waves should remain constant. So if two monochromatic sources are used to obtain the interference on the screen, then sometimes what happens, the phase difference of these two sources from which the light is coming, that will not remain same because the phase of this light waves changes in 10 raised to minus 10 second. So there is an abrupt change of the phase, and so even that cannot produce the interference fringes. So to produce the interference fringes, monochromatic light, that is light having one frequency, as well as the phase relation between both the sources should remain same. So for that, a scientist named Young had made an arrangement. You can see this arrangement in this figure. Here a source is kept here which is monochromatic. Light waves, when they incident at this pinhole, a small pinhole is made or a slit is there. So from this pinhole again the light will move forward, and when it passes through this another two pinholes made in a cardboard, then these waves, they emerge out from that two pinholes which are coherent sources. They are having same frequency and their phase relation are also same because they are obtained from the same wavefront. You can see this wavefront gets divided into two parts, and so in that case we can get the interference pattern on the screen. Once again students, from a source producing light, wavefronts, when they pass through this pinhole, this small pinhole will behave as a secondary source and even light emerge out from it. Again it is a single source of light, secondary source. So a wavefront when reaches to these 2 point sources, their frequency and phases are same. Once again from these two pinholes the light will emerge, and that two pinholes behave as a source of two coherent lights with zero phase difference. So in that case, an interference pattern is obtained. Now students, British physicist Thomas Young made this type of arrangement to obtain the coherent sources. And this method of obtaining the coherent sources is known as method of division of wavefront, because here a wavefront gets divided into two when they pass through two pinholes. He made two pinholes S1 and S2 very close to each other on an opaque screen. This screen is opaque, and distance between these two sources are very small, as well as the holes which are made should be pinhole. Also, this arrangement should be made in a dark room so that these fringes can be observed properly. Now, students, let us select an arbitrary point on the screen. This is a screen, and we have select any arbitrary point. Distance between the sources is taken as small d. So this is small d, and distance of the screen from the source is taken as capital D. From the midpoint of the distance between the two sources, if we take the perpendicular, that is normal, then the point on the screen obtained due to intersection of the normal is suppose O. Then the distance of this selected point from this O is x. So students, remember this x, capital D and small d is very important here. Now in figure, the light from the source S1 reaches point P. Also, light from the source S2 reaches at point P. So here you can see the distance covered by the light from source S2 is more than that of the light coming from source S1 towards P. And so there is a difference of path. And that path difference can be obtained using simple mathematics. This path difference will be this much. You can see if I draw perpendicular from S1 on S2 on this ray coming from S2, then this much distance is nothing but it is path difference. So now let us obtain the path difference between the two light reaching at point P. Now you can see in this triangle PS1A1, this is right angle triangle, and S1P is the hypotenuse. Also, distance from P to A1 will be x minus d by 2. It is because this much distance is x and this much distance is half of this d, that is d by 2, and so this much distance will be x minus d by 2. Now distance from S1 to A1 is capital D. So as we have this distance, from P to this A1 and as well as S1 to A1, we can find the length of hypotenuse using Pythagoras theorem. So S1P square is equal to S1A1 square plus PA1 square. Let me show here. S1P square is equal to S1A1 square plus P1A1 square. But what is S1A1? It is D, so D square. And what is PA1? It is X minus D by 2. So we have kept that values. Now opening these brackets, we will get D square as it is, X square plus D by 2 whole square, that is D square by 4, and middle term will be minus XD. So this is quite simple, you can do it. You have to simply open the bracket and you will get this. Let us give this equation number 1. Now for this triangle, this S2P is a hypotenuse and this distance will be X plus D by 2, and this distance is once again D only as earlier, which was for this. So once again applying Pythagoras theorem, S2P square is equal to S2A2 square plus PA2 square, that is square of this side is equal to this side square plus this side square, and I have shown this here. S2P square is equal to S2A2 square plus PA2 square, but S2A2 is nothing but is D and PA2 is nothing but X plus D by 2. Once again opening this bracket, you will get this. Now taking difference of equation 2 and 1, that is S2P square minus S1P square. So what will happen? This d square will cancel, x2 square will cancel, this will cancel, and this minus this, already it is minus, and so minus into minus will become plus. So xd plus xd will be 2xd. I have shown this here. S2P square minus S1P square is equal to 2xd. Now students, this can be written as S2P minus S1P into S2P plus S1P. We know that if it is a square minus b square, then we can write this as a plus b into a minus b. So same thing we have done here, 2xd as it is. Now this, keep it here only on the left side and bring this term towards right side. So now what is this S2P minus S1P? It is the path difference between both the rays or waves coming from the sources S1 and S2. You can see here in figure, light coming from this source at P, light coming from this source S2 from at point P. So you get path difference of this much when we subtract S2P minus S1P. Now students, if this x is quite small compared to D, as well as if distance between the source is also quite smaller than the distance of screen from the source, then in that case we can take this S2P plus S1P is equal to 2D. Let me show you from the figure. If this distance is quite small, as well as this distance on the screen, that is x, is also quite small compared to this capital D, that is the screen is quite far away compared to these two distances, or this distance is generally taken as 1 meter. Distance between the sources is generally taken as 1 mm. So in that case we can neglect this D and X. So students, considering this condition, S2P plus S1P will be nearly equal to 2D. You can see once again here, this length and this length can be taken as D. So S1P is also D and S2P is also D. So D plus D is 2D. Students, here in figure you can see that there is a quite large difference of the length, and that this distance D is not equal to this two. But if this distance are quite small, think these distances are quite small, nearly of 1 mm size, then you will find that these two lengths S1P and S2P will be quite nearly equal to D. So we have assumed this condition. So nearly equal to 2D we have taken. So S2P plus S1P is taken as 2D. So if we take this as 2D, what will happen? We will get 2xd upon 2D. So 2 will cancel. What is remained? Xd by D. And so is here. On the left side it is same. So now we can say that the path difference is nearly equal to xd by D. Now students, constructive interference, or it is called maximum. Constructive interference means a bright region is obtained. Also, there is a destructive interference called minima also, in which dark region is obtained, because on the screen we will get a bright band and a dark band. Then once again bright and dark. So here the condition of constructive interference and destructive interference are shown. Students, if the path difference is n lambda, then in that case we will get the constructive interference, and this we have already studied. So now path difference, that is xd by d, which we have obtained here, that is we have compared this equation with this equation. So xd by d is equal to n lambda for constructive interference. Making subject x, we will get n lambda d by small d. So at this much distance on the screen, we will get the bright bands due to constructive interference. Here this n is equal to 0, plus or minus 1, plus or minus 2. Why here plus or minus is taken? It is because we will get bright dark bands above also as well as below also. So for above we have to consider 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on. And for below we have to consider -1, -2 and so on. At the center, that is at 0, there will be a bright band. So students, I hope you understood. So this is the formula for the constructive interference on the screen. This xn is the distance on the screen. So students, just imagine that if you put n is equal to 0, then we'll get x is equal to 0. If you take n is equal to 1, then we'll get x is equal to lambda d by small d. If you take n is equal to 2, then you will get this as 2 lambda d by small d and so on. So these are the distances on the screen for which we will get the bright bands or the bright region. Similarly, we know that path difference, if the path difference is n plus 1 by 2 lambda, then that will be destructive interference. But path difference is obtained to be xd by d. So comparing this equation of path difference with this condition of destructive interference, then we will get xd by d is equal to n plus 1 by 2 lambda, and therefore making subject x, we will get x is equal to n plus 1 by 2 lambda capital D by d. So this is the condition for the destructive interference. For all these positions, we'll get the dark bands on the screen. Now students, fringe width. We know that on the screen this type of pattern is obtained, and so if we consider this as a bright and this as a dark, then from central bright we'll get alternate dark white in both the side, this type of regions. And so width of any bright region or any dark region can be obtained, and it is to be noted that width of the bright or the dark is same. Distance between two dark is considered as a bright region. Similarly, distance between two white is called a dark region. So students, the dark and the bright bands appear on the screen as shown in figure. It is clear from the figure that dark and bright fringes are equally spaced. The separation between the centers of two consecutive bright or dark fringes is the width of a dark or a bright fringe. This means that distance between two bright gives the width of a dark, or distance between two dark gives the width of a bright fringe. So now the distance between the two consecutive bright fringes is given by beta is equal to xn plus 1 minus xn. Xn means, first suppose if we take n is equal to 1, then this xn means it is the first bright fringe, and xn plus 1 will be the second bright fringe. So second bright fringe minus first bright fringe will give us the width of a dark fringe. So here we have taken beta is equal to xn plus 1 minus xn. Once again, in this figure, if I say this is a central bright whose distance on the screen will be 0, and on this side if I take n is equal to 1, then I'll get this bright fringe, and if I take n is equal to 2, then I'll get second bright fringe. So distance between this first and second bright fringe will give me the width of a dark fringe. So here this is n plus 1 and this is n. So now putting x, we have obtained this equation for bright. Condition for bright is n lambda d by d. We know that xn is equal to n lambda d by small d for bright. So xn is equal to this, and if we take xn plus 1, so in place of this n we have to write n plus 1, and lambda d by d as it is, you can see. So we have just kept the formulas for this xn plus 1 and xn. Now taking common this lambda d by d, what is remained in first term? N plus 1, and in second term n minus sign as it is. Opening this bracket, plus n and minus n will cancel, only remain 1. 1 into lambda d by small d is lambda d by small d. So this is the formula for the width of the dark fringe or a bright fringe. Now example number 10.3. Here it is given that there are two slits which are 1 millimeter apart, and the screen is placed 1 meter away from the slits. What is the fringe separation when the blue-green light over wavelength 500 nanometer is used? So here wavelength is given, that is lambda. Distance between the two slits, that is distance between the sources, small d is given, and distance of the screen, that is capital D, that is also given, and we want to find the spacing between the fringes. Students, fringe width, that is nothing but is spacing between the fringes. So now distance between the sources, small d is given, distance of the screen from the source, that is capital D is given, wavelength of the light used, lambda, that is also given, and we want to find the spacing between the two fringes, that is beta, is to be find out. We know that beta is equal to lambda capital D by D. This is the formula for the fringe width only. just put the given values. All the values are given. As this is 500 nanometer, so in SI system we can write this as 500 into 10 raised to minus 9 meter. 1 mm means it is 1 into 10 raised to minus 3 meter. So putting the values and calculating, we will get 5 into 10 raised to minus 4 meter. This can be written as 0.5 into 10 raised to minus 3 meter. But 10 raised to minus 3 means milli. So we can write this as 0.5 millimeter. Now example number 10.4. This example is based on knowledge and understanding. So you can easily understand this example by yourself. Now students, it should be remembered that if the sources are the point sources, and if the distance between the two sources is very much small, you can see here the distance between the source is taken 0.005 mm, that is, it is 5 micrometer. In that case you will get fringes like this. But if you observe this much part of the screen, then you can see that the fringes are nearly straight. But if the distance between the fringes are little more, then we will get the fringes due to 2-point sources as a straight line only. Also, if we use slits in place of pinhole or a point source, you can see here there are 2 slits in place of point sources. In that case also we will get the fringes as a straight line, but here the intensity of the light will be more for the bright fringes.